Welcome back here to the What's Cooking program, weekend edition, ladies and gentlemen. America's food, wine, restaurant, and travel show. I'm Michael Horn in beautiful Santa Rosa, California, at the Fountain Grove Inn and Conference Center, right in the heart of Sonoma wine country. Larry Van Alst has joined me here from the What's Cooking on Wine Sonoma report, broadcast right from your studios here each and every Wednesday, Larry.
I'm feeling at home. This is where I do it.
Except you usually run all the equipment here. You've got me doing that, and you're taking it under your own risk having that happen.
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm just bowing to the expert here. So it always sounds better when I sound a little more like Orson Welles is what
you youngsters, if we can pass along some information, if you want to get into broadcasting, one important thing, make sure everything is plugged in.
Yeah.
That is just a little tip for you today. And Paul Stern back there at the CRN Broadcast Center, along with Jack Roberts and Eric Hines, host of the first hour of the What's Cooking show. Tom Hind has joined us. And Tom, you are a board member of the Sonoma County Vintners Association. They, along with the Sonoma Valley Vintners Association, right?
Sonoma Valley Vintners and Growers.
The Valley Vintners and Growers Association are putting on the big Sonoma Wine Country Weekend. They've combined forces, put on this great event each and every Labor Day. Mark it on your calendars. Check out the website. Get here next year. There are still some limited passes available if you want to get in. So get going while the getting's good at SonomaWineCountryWeekend.com. All the great people there. I believe is it Megan that's in charge of the vintners and growers, and of course Honor Comfort,
yes,
the executive director with your organization, the Sonoma County.
Maureen, right?
Maureen, is it Maureen?
Yeah.
There you go, Maureen.
Lovely.
Lovely Maureen. I apologize to you, Maureen. I didn't get
her and Honor work all year long.
Boy, do they.
And now
and they work on this event.
Now there's nothing they can do about it. The thing started last night, and
they seemed relaxed, didn't they? They did a little bit, yeah. All right, so we were talking about, first off, the growing the grapes here, and you mentioned there's a term called canopy management. And so for our listeners out there, as the grapes start to grow, the leaves are the canopy, and the growers and the winemakers will go out and look at it and sometimes remove some leaves to allow sunlight to hit in or leave leaves on to cover it up. This year, I'm guessing because it's so cold, you mentioned it, you got to remove a lot of leaves to get the sun in to ripen these grapes.
You do. You have to really balance what's happening in the fruit zone with your potential crop and with what's happening around you in this climate that Mother Nature is kind of throwing at you. One of the interesting quandaries this year was we leafed things out, and then we did have this one little heat spike, and the grapes didn't like that too much. It's a little bit like not having enough sunscreen on if you're down.
So you opened it up, and all of a sudden the sun
got that
comes.
Sun and heat. Yeah.
So what did that do? Maybe burn a few grapes, and you got to go look at the clusters.
It did. It burnt them a little bit. Fortunately, we only leaf one side of the vine to give the vine a chance to react on the warmer side. Although the morning side was a little warmer in this particular instance, but now it cooled back off, and now we've got another warm spell coming. And I was talking to Steve last night. He'll be on in a minute. They've started their harvest up in earnest with some sparkling wine, and that's under full swing right now. And we'll be looking at Pinot Noir on some younger vine blocks, probably first of next week.
So it's kind of a scary thing. We talk about always the farmers, the growers. I mean, basically you're talking about farming here. Mm-hmm. If you would take the canopy and toss off a lot of the leaves early on, you're kind of messed up if it starts to get pretty hot because you can't put those leaves back on, right?
We can't put the leaves back on.
Just standing there like a scarecrow trying to shade things without it.
Yeah, well, you want to expose the skins, the cuticle of the skins, to the sun gradually and maintain this balance of light and air movement through the canopy to get those grapes acclimated to that condition. And the concern was it was too damp, it was too moist, and we need to expose them, and then there's a good balance play there.
That's good. So this is something to think about. This will be the 2010 vintage where all this is happening, and these are the things that happen throughout the year. One year we had fires. People were wondering if there was going to be some smoke damage to the grapes. Sometimes there's too much sun. It's a quicker harvest. Yep. All this is kind of fun. But how is the current release that's out now in whites? 2009, 2008 out in some of the Pinots. You have the 8s out right now?
The 2008s are out right now, the Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, and they're drinking lovely. 2008 was a balanced vintage. It was sort of a fruit-forward vintage, so the wines are showing really, really well about 2 years post-harvest. And our goal is to balance fruit, acidity, and our oak aging. So we don't want any one of those components really overdone. We are minimalists. We're we're about expressing our vineyard, which is uniquely situated out on the Sonoma coast, perched over the ocean. And we try to bring that vineyard balance then to our bottle of wine, and we did that beautifully in 2008.
Small, limited quantities of postage stamp size vineyards that you're putting into some great Pinot Noir. You've tasted it, Larry. Is that
I love the Pinot Noir. You've neglected to talk about the Chardonnay, one of my favorite Chardonnays in the world that you make out there.
Yeah, the Chardonnay is a little bit like the Pinot Noir. In this cold climate, gets this beautiful crisp acidity at its core, and then layered flavors of delicate fruit and citrus, some mineral notes on that.
Give us the website there at Flowers.
Flowerswinery.com.
And I know we got some new fun stuff talking about you. We'll get to get you on again because you're always involved with great stuff.
Indeed, Michael.
We're going to talk some good stuff. Tom Hein, President Director of Winemaking at Flowers Vineyard. We're talking about the Sonoma Wine Country Weekend. Check it out at SonomaWineCountryWeekend.com. We'll take a break. Back with more on CRN, the What's Cooking Show.
Who's watching your home when you're not there? It could be a burglar. Burglars prefer to break in when they think no one is home, and no one will stop them.